numbers and all that
Die
kind
hard.
of torque.
All that.
Yeah, so they're, of course, these are, I think this is, and I'm going to do a lot of checking over my shoulder as I kind of, I think this is the first world performance car.
Yep.
Ford.
Yes.
In a long time, right?
Yes.
And let me find the lash. So, that being said, there's a lot of Euro-isms when you drive this. You've driven the Fiesta?
No, I own one actually.
Fiesta? Okay. You notice that one as being kind of a world car. It feels, a lot of the design and build and everything going on in Germany. There's just, it feels a little bit different. It's very solid.
I bought it.
Yeah, and that's one thing you notice about this. Yeah, material, suspension, everything. I've been to the Lommel Proving Grounds, which is that's the proving grounds in Belgium, and they're crazy there when they're testing cars. It's really unbelievable the extent of testing that they do and tearing into everything. And it's one of the things I was most excited about, finally some performance world cars coming over, because I think they are just, over there they drive faster in Europe. They push things harder. There's not really a lot of speed limits around, and so they design cars there that feel more and more solid, kind of at higher and higher speed, even the small ones. And this, by the way, in Europe is a pretty big car.
Yeah, we've seen it.
Yeah, you go down there, you get a rental car, get the full size, and it's like, this long. But this is a pretty big car in Europe. It's got a lot of room, and it's a 2-liter, where a lot of those countries, I think, still get taxed on the literage when they buy a car. I was there, and for fun, I took, this is 3-4 weeks ago, I took a Raptor out on the Nürburgring, which was a 6.3 liter, and Germans were, I couldn't tell if they actually liked it, but they were into it in some way. Anyway, so turbocharged 4, we have a similar Duratec in a race car that I run that's actually based on the Fiesta, and with a lot of similarities in the engine. Obviously, we work our engine pretty hard, but we make about 600 horsepower out of the 2-liter with 48 pounds of boost. So there's a lot of capability in the block. This is front-wheel drive, and it has, I know one of the things that a lot of guys at ST Team were very proud of is a torque vectoring. And it's really where all of this, like performance driving, has to be going. Because, we've been in the age of the steering wheel for a long time. And there's so much more performance when it comes to 4 tires on the road than just the steering wheel, because you can always, it's like in a canoe, powering, the outside of the turn is what turns the canoe without a steering wheel. And so with a car, if you can power the outside tires when you turn the steering wheel a little bit, that can almost be just as effective or more effective as the steering wheel is. Just by putting more power to the outside, it'll turn the car by itself. So you can make a front-wheel drive car be more effective and responsive, really, than any other front-wheel drive car that is just simply sending power to both tires. So the way that this works is when you turn the steering wheel, it has a sensor that says how much you're turning the steering wheel, and it literally brakes the inside tire very smoothly a little bit, so that naturally sends the power to the outside, and the outside is literally spinning with more power than the inside, and that turns the car better.
Do you like that from your perspective as an enthusiast driver, or do you think maybe
If there's a racing series that would let something like that in it, everybody would have it. Because performance-wise, there's no other way to go. The steering wheel is incredibly limited. When you turn the steering wheel, the car wants to go straight, and the contact patches are telling the car, no, you need to use whatever friction I have available to take that inertia and completely change its direction. But with the torque vectoring, it doesn't have to go through any of those physics. It literally will just twist the car. And so if you could get away with that in a racing series, then you'd have a huge advantage. There are some cars that do it through different techniques, though. I think there are some cars that have clutch packs that accelerate an outside tire.
Right. Instead of using cables.
Yeah. And something like this is certainly the lightest way that you can possibly do it.
Let's get close to there.
And I think it's pretty effective. I'm excited about getting in the electronics of something like this and actually trying to map that torque vectoring and push it to the limits to see how aggressive you can make it for a racetrack application. I think it's pretty cool. There are some series like Time Attack and stuff like that where there just aren't any rules and you can get away with that stuff.
Do you get to see stuff behind the scenes, like maybe the Revo knuckle technology? You know, if they're talking about it on a computer. I know they don't want to talk about it. But
I don't. Usually what happens is I'll get to go test some stuff and it'll be like more like feeling suspension